So I think Namira asks a really interesting question. Her question is, can you describe a situation where a client was disappointed or where your results went off track? How did you manage the situation and the relationship?
Yeah. A few different times. It's always about not having a clear set of deliverables. I think people assume a lot. We both do. I think when I was getting started, especially in this industry where I had a lot of knowledge that I accumulated over so many years. I did my first little bit of acting in Toronto when I was 6. Like there was things that I just assumed everyone kind of knew, and learning to really put everything in writing about how an experience is going to go or how a photo shoot or a class, and really make sure we had a shared understanding was so essential. To be more specific, I've had people come in for photo shoots and they think they're going to have a lot more direction themselves of like what they can wear or how they want to look in a photo. And I, as an agent, am always thinking about, well, how can we shoot this so they're the most marketable to a client? So sometimes it's not that personal, and I think that can kind of be difficult because it's also a very personal thing to go on camera and look a certain way. So I always try to now have introductory calls to talk to people about how a process is going to go, put it all in writing, they like sign off on it, and then we kind of at least have a shared plan for the day.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions here about motivation. Okay. So the first one comes from Lovepreet. What was the main reason for you to choose the path of freelancing, and who motivated you to start your own company?
I've never really done anything else. And I think because I grew up working a little bit on the side in the model and talent industry, I always kind of had, an audition to look forward to or a show on the side. I very much feel that my adult life is a lot like my childhood in terms of doing all these projects, but now I get paid for them. And that's kind of the switch between childhood to adulthood, where as a kid, you're investing in your career to learn. And as an adult, you're kind of doing the same things, but offering it back to the community. So it wasn't always like a conscious choice. I kind of continued doing it. And then once you're an adult, you have to support yourself. So you end up setting up your passions in a way that also, give you a revenue stream to live on. I collaborated with my roommate at the time. It was like a typical startup story. 2 roommates talking about an idea and then wanting to bring it to the world. And I do think without him, I would have maybe started just being an artist and kind of just freelancing. But he was the one who was very business minded. And I kind of learned to take my passions and make it into a business. And that was new for me. So having that co-founder relationship the first time I was a freelancer, the first time I was in business, was essential for me to kind of go from just performer to performer with a business.
Yeah, Pratham asks, what motivated you to pursue freelancing? But really, the main part of the question is, how did you take the first step into the freelance? So you've kind of answered that a little bit, but if you want to expand on that.
I would say another big motivator in this day and age in 2026, like, is freedom. I love that every day is a bit different. It's not for everyone. Some people really like a routine and stability, and I totally respect that and understand. I love projects. And I think that also comes from an arts background. If you're involved in like a theater show, you do something for 6 months and then you do another project and another project. And I love that lifestyle. So I think that was a huge motivator for me to find a way to do that instead of going out and getting a job that looked the same every day.
Talk a little bit about what it's like to work alone. Mm-hmm. Freelancing can probably sometimes feel isolating. Mm-hmm. What strategies do you use to stay motivated, connected, and mentally balanced while working independently?
I will say it's my biggest challenge. I don't actually love working from home. I love making my own schedule, and I love being free to kind of organize my day, but I really thrive leaving the house to work. I love working at a cafe. I love even inviting some of my other friends who are either students still or freelancers too. We kind of maybe have lunch and do some work on our laptops together. But one thing that I'm so lucky is that my freelance business, I do teach a lot. So typically in the evening, I can look forward to being with students and being in a community, and that really gets me excited to then go home the next day and work on whatever we chatted about the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would be silly to not mention doing modeling and acting is kind of self-development. You learn so much about confidence, but I don't have a course that I've really done. I have a lot of great books that I've read. A book that I love is called The Source, and it really talks about how to use neuroplasticity to set goals for yourself, and kind of like a real guideline for manifestation in business and like kind of figuring out what you want. So I love reading and getting different tips and tricks from books, but I've never really done a full self-development course.